Hi folks, this is Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy of GroovyMusicLessons.com. Today I'm going to try to teach you theory without teaching you any theory. Grab my iced tea to explain that one. I've done one similar to this by doing the relative minor chord, so if you just look up one of my lessons here, free on YouTube or free on my website, you'll see a relative minor lesson. Well, I'm going to give you an extra relative minor and another relative major, which you're like, I don't want to do all this. I know exactly what you feel like. I don't want to do scales or theory either. So we're going to do it without doing scales and theory. Anything for a shortcut. Okay? You could decide later if you want to decipher this for yourself, which you will actually do through playing. So you will learn theory whether you want to or not, but without having to go through the boring, tedious scales, this does this and the mixolydian and the lick-a-lesbian and all the other things that I always keep coming up with. So we're going to simply go through what 4 chords can we play basically the exact same licks that we already know over top of. Okay? So I'm going to teach you that. So you're going to be able to play, you're like, man, I played great in the key of D, or I played great in the key of E minor, but all the other chords I fumble around. This is the people that this is for. It's going to show you the other chords and in very layman terms, show you how to get to them. Say, okay, your next chord is basically just 3 frets backwards, and you'll remember it that way instead of how to relate it to it by being the, here's the tonic, here's the you know, whatever. And it's like, it's without all that kind of crap talking. So let's just get right into this. Today I'm going to use just got a few things for fun. Okay, this here's my 1976, or so they call it, Gibson Explorer Limited, actually made in 1975. I called Gibson, had it checked out because, you know, all the pots and everything still date to 1975, and then the serial number, which is online if you ever want to find this guitar. But anyway, it's upside down. It's the limited edition thing. Where the hell is the serial number? Here it is. So it's upside down, I know that. Turn your computer upside down. But yes, you can find this one online, where it was at before I had it, and where everything also checks out to be from 1975. So this was one of the very, 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 very first Explorers to come out. You know, after Hamer and everybody else started making them, Gibson got back on the bandwagon and started making Explorers again. So this here is a 1976 Gibson Explorer made in 1975. Okay, makes sense? Because they wanted to release them in 76. But anyway, and today I'm going to use what I call my chapper's tone. Okay? So, yeah, we all have to have our jokes, don't we? So, it will be full of gain, but still none of it being artificially, it's going through real tubes, and then it's got no other effects, no chorus, no nothing, just a delay that is way too long for its own good afterwards. So you'll get into this sound. He likes to roll off his tone all the way too. So let's go to the neck pickup and roll off the tone, and see the chapper sound. You know, but then you'd have to, you know, be like, you know, just. Okay, that was a lick. Okay, it's okay. I've made fun now. Why? Because he makes it so easy. Okay, so what we're going to do, and why do I do things like that? Because I can, and because he deserves it. Okay. Gotta get my digs in, kids. Anyway, so let's say I've got the old Casio whipped out and all the other keyboards turned on. I stroked them early to get them turned on. So we're going to be listening to some nasty old Casio stuff like this. Let's see. Like E minor. And I'll play in E minor. Give myself a little more volume because I want it and I need it. But okay, so say you're great playing in E minor. Okay, so you've got E minor. There's my chopper tone. Okay, and the tones are up. Everything on the guitar is dimed now. So you know how to play E minor. And you're good at it. Okay? Let's say there are other basic things that you're good at. And we will apply them all here, and what other chords you could play over top of this. So just for the sake of it, let's actually just go to the key of D. You're like, why the hell are you talking about all this E minor stuff then if I'm going to go to D? Because E minor works beautifully with D. So you can play all your E minor licks. And you can play all your, if you have licks that are in the key of D. Okay, so that's D. Then you got E minor. Okay, they sound like two totally different things. They are the same notes. Okay, so all the same notes are in these scales. And I'm not going to break those down for you. You can play your little licks and get your own backing tracks here on YouTube, download them or play along with them, or if you have your own dinky little method of looping or anything to make a loop to put all these chords together, have at it, because it'll make it a lot easier for you. So I'm going to give you all the chords that are related to what we're playing in. So say we're playing the key of D. Okay, I'm going to go to the keyboard here on top, just a piano. Here is, sorry for my back being there, but here's D. Here's E minor. Same notes. Okay, and another relative minor is going to be, and what this means, relative minor means it's akin to it. It belongs there because it's related. Okay, that's really what it means. So B, so like I say, here's B, and let's make a minor, B minor. Okay. Okay. Same notes that are in D, same notes that are in E, same notes that are in B minor, and we can also go to G major. Same notes. You're like, can't be. It's like, it is. Okay, so G. Okay, so all of those are all the same notes. Okay, and it's going to be that way for every key that you play in. I'm just going to show you how to find the 4 basic shapes and the 4 basic chords, and you can play what you come up with. Okay, so say I have, again we're in D, so I will just play on the big Magic Casio keyboard D major. Okay, so here we are in D major, straight triad. So it's hard to argue that D major licks. Okay, it's just a straight major scale. Okay, straight major. Use a dominant 7th, of course. Okay. So we are playing just in D over a D chord. Now, say the song goes to E minor. You're like, what the hell do I do? Now this will be the most confusing out of the whole chord situation, but, okay, so you're thinking D. Now we're going to actually go up to E, so up 2 frets. You know, so if you're in another key and you're thinking of this, you think, wow, I can go up 2 frets. Say I'm playing an A, that means I can go up 2 frets, but I have to play in minor. Just like this is D, you have to go up 2 frets and play it in minor. Okay, but you're still thinking, no, I'm just playing in D. That's all I want to do is play in D, even though all these chords are changing underneath me. These are the chords that can change underneath me, and I can play all this stuff that I know how to play in D, even though these 4 chords are there. So your D is your first one, of course. Now E minor, why? Because I said so, and I just played it for you on the keyboard. They're all the same notes. The problem you have to worry about is which notes to end on. And this is where you get to start figuring out, inadvertently or by accident, how theory is going to work. But let's go ahead and keep it in D. I'm going to, as far as our playing, our licks are going to be in D. The chord now playing back here is going to be E minor. Okay, so here's E minor. See. Okay, so time to keep playing the same D lick, but that's the E minor right there. With the same D lick. Okay. You're like, Scott, that sounds like crap. Yes, and it will. Again, this is where you have to, those notes are all in an E minor scale, but they are not the pleasing ones. Okay? So now we get to bend and so forth, because you know how to. And then D, or okay, so most of these, when it comes time for this second chord, or the minor that is 2 frets up from your root chord, meaning home base, so the one that is D, up 2 frets, E, but minor. Most of these you're going to have to use either a bent note, so part of the exact same notes you're playing already, but you're going to have to go to the notes that are in between those. Okay, so it's not just the triad. The triad is going to sound horrible, meaning the D. So the D like this. Those notes, yes, they're all in an E minor scale, but you don't want to hang on any of them. Okay? At no point do you actually want to linger there. Even though you're playing your butt off, you said, Scott, I could play my D stuff. You can. that one, say you're doing a D, just this way right here. Now take all these notes and just bend them up to the next note in that whole thing. Just bend them up. Then we had, so that one where you bend it up, and bend that one up a whole step. And then like, so it's the notes that you always like to play in D, but over the E minor you want to play all of the bent notes from your cool D stuff. Okay? So the notes you want to actually land on, you can play the other notes. Like I said, they're all still in the E minor scale, which I don't want to have to teach you because you don't want to learn it yet, which is fine. I didn't want to learn it either, and that is fine, but I did learn just by playing like we're doing today. I'm just showing you how to use your brain on something other than Skyrim. Okay, a rim job, another Chapper's reference. Okay. So instead of playing video games all day, work on your guitar sometimes. So now use the notes that are bent. Same D stuff, but the notes that you would normally bend to. And again, to have a backing track is great. Here we go again. E minor, playing the D stuff, but the bent up notes. Okay, so now I'm going to use the bent up notes. So it's the same stuff. You're playing the D leads that you already know. They're going great now over the E minor. You're still playing, but you realize okay, that you just simply have to stop on some of those other notes that are in the D scale, because it's the other notes that are in the D scale that are the prominent or very ear-friendly notes within the E minor scale. Okay, so you have to bend or play between the notes that you normally play in the D scale. No notes that are different, because you would normally in D go that's your normal D scale. So it's all the ones that you normally don't play when you're in D. Okay, but if you're in E minor, the ones you're actually playing are going to be, instead of this one, which you'll play as a passing note, those three are notes that you will not want to land on, the ones that actually make up the D chord. But in the E minor, you want the ones that are in between those notes, but you still use those notes in passing. Okay? So that means you can go normally here, but let's go to the second note. Because remember, this whole thing is up 2 frets from where it was. So what was right here, when we were playing in D, is now right 2 frets up. And what was right for the D, remember we moved the whole thing up to E minor, is now going to be right here. But it is still part of the D scale. But you wouldn't stop there if you're playing a D, you would go on up. Because it's more pleasing on the ear. And reason is because it's the third. We want to stay away from learning stuff, but it is part of the D scale and it's part of the 3 notes that are going to make it a major ear-friendly thing. So again, we're moving things up. So if you just go up to the next note in whatever you're playing D scales in, or wherever you normally go to, just bend it up to the next note that you would normally play if you're playing in D. So if you went to this, the next note that's actually in the D scale is that G. So if we're going up to E minor, just take it up to the next note. And if you know this at all, there's your E. If we're going to E minor, your 1, your 2, and your minor, your flatted third. If you just go up one more, it'd be at E major. But that's theory again. So just take what you had and all these bends and all this stuff makes it great over this chord. So again, if you ever do have a chord progression that goes from D and then you go up to the E minor, and it doesn't matter if the chord progression actually goes there. I'm just kind of using this as a basis, so try not to get lost right here. If you're just in E minor playing and you get tired of going and that's all you know in an E minor, or going, you know, making the minor chord, then just remember, oh, I can just play my D staff because it's close to it. So I'm in E minor, so I can just go down 2 frets, play in major, but use all those bends. Okay, so try to remember what I just said there. Say the song is in E minor. Okay, so I'll put it in E minor now, and I'll play all my D licks again with all the bends. There's E minor. I'm not thinking a thing about E minor in my brain while I'm playing. I'm thinking, okay, play D. Okay, but bend to all the notes, or simply go to the note you would have bent to. So from here, just go to, instead of here, just, instead of here, just. Okay, so now if you play them that way, instead of bending them, listen what happens. Okay, so we're going to E minor again. We're playing all the stuff you know in D, but we're moving them all up to what you were bending them to. We're not going to bend them this time, we're just going to play them and land on the notes that you would have bent to. Here we go, like... thinking nothing but D. Okay? So there you go. So if you are playing a song in E minor, just like that was playing, it's like, God, I've got a way to get out of that E minor box that I know how to play two riffs in. Okay? Because a lot of people, when you're beginning, and that's who I like to teach, because if you're advanced, you basically don't need to be taught, so get out of here. Okay, so we all know this thing. You're like, we do? Yeah, because everybody sits around, meaning everybody, and with sultans of swing, like, over top of that D minor, it's just playing that chord. Okay, so it's just playing the chord, and you only just move your pinky once. Okay, so you know. Same with the E minor, now you bring it all up. So you would naturally know that. Okay? Which is a great one to know, you have to know that one. And then to make an E minor here. Because most people are aware enough in theory to know that to get a minor chord, all you do is flat the third. So there's your third. So there's your 1, your E, your 2. Here's a 3 in the E scale, but you flat it. So that gives you your E minor. So most of you are going, and you know that you have, and then the other one that are shaped like those. But now you know, God, I can just go down 2 frets and play D major. Okay, so if you get stuck and you're really good at playing in major and you suck playing in minor, okay, now you can do that. You can just, whatever key the song's in, just happens to be E minor for now, but this will be for every key, of course. If you are in A, you would just go down to, say you're in A minor. Then you just have to play in G, but bend all the notes. Okay? Same thing here. But I'm playing in G. But I'm actually playing in A minor. But I'm playing the stuff I know in G. Okay, because I'm stopping on the notes right after what I would play. There's my G stuff, but I'm going to go. You know, because I would normally stop right here in A, or G. And then there's a G up there. So when you go to A minor, you just take everything up 2 more frets that you normally do in G. So all your bends, all your notes, just keep thinking G while you're in A minor, and don't let that A minor fool you. Okay, so you outsmart it. Just say, okay, Scott said I can go backward 2 frets of whatever that minor is and play major, but make sure I bend everything or play everything 2 frets higher. And that's all you're doing, just playing the same. You're playing out of the G position, but you're taking everything up to the A, and then without thinking about it, you're actually putting in the minor of the A minor, so, which is the C note, but you don't need to know that because it's not part of your G thing, it's part of a G major scale. So right there. But the way I'm teaching you is you're bending it or heck going to it. There's your A, here's your A minor. Because it's that C note. But you don't need to be thinking about that. You said Scott said to do this. Why did he say to do that? I don't know, he's messed up in the head. But that's what's going to work. Okay, so we're here. Let's do A minor. and turn on this, go to work. And I'll play in G right here, like this. Instead of the D shape, I'll use just the A shape like this. G over top of A minor. So not G, but you bent it. So you see how every single note from that G, whatever I wanted to use, went up to that A minor, but I'm just thinking G. But it's the bendy things that make it so cool, and those are things you're not getting by playing A minor like this. You're not getting okay, so the cool stuff you're leaving out because you're playing A minor patterns. So now you're playing a G major pattern, which just brings a whole different thought process into your brain. Okay, let's get back on the 4 chords you can play in the key of D. Okay, so back to the beginning, and everybody have a drink on me. I know you've all got AC/DC going through your head. Have a drink on me. Okay, now we did the whole D does work in E minor. Okay, just like we just went and showed you a different key to put it in. Okay, D also has the natural relative minor, which I did a lesson on this one, which is if you're in D. Okay, now even though you're in D, you can play, if you want, and we get to think this forward and backward too. Remember this if I don't tell you later, because I'm going to mean to. If we're playing in D, you can still play all the E minor licks you know, because they are interactive. So if you're playing in D major, come on Casio. So here's E minor. Like, that sounds like hell. Yeah. Okay. They sound like total hell, but you have to do something with them, especially the minors, to make them sound right. Okay? Okay, you have to sneak up on them, or in this case, sneak down on them. It's all still part of the same thing. So you sit around and figure out, okay, I want to play in D, but I want to use all the E minor licks I know, which you can, but you have to resolve on a different note, meaning land on a different note. So your E minor stuff. Do you see where it's getting ready to go? Okay, so your E minor stuff, but now that you're over top of the D, and you just brought E minor, and we were thinking of it going the other way, going from D up, having to take all our notes and bend them up to something. Same thing here. And so you want to play your E minor over the D. You have to take those notes that are in E minor. You can use them. Okay, and find the stuff that will work with the bends. You can bend up and see if it needs to be a half step or a whole step without accidentally teaching yourself theory. But when it's all done, you will know theory, whether you know that you know theory or not. So again, D major, and I'm going to bend these E minor notes to work in D major. And okay, so D major. Now here's an ugly E minor. Okay, they need doctored up. So you still can't land here. There has to be something done to it. Well, nothing's going to work. So you're like, nothing's going to work there. It's going to take a heck of a bend to get it there, but it's going to have to get up to the D. Okay? Okay. So there's your first note, your E. So it works backward, just like the other one worked in the other key. Your next one, it's going to have to go up to the A. Slide it back to make it all on your D. So I made it work there because I couldn't bend it to a note that would work. Nothing quite worked, so kind of weird to hear it, but yeah, it's all in there. They're all the same notes in all four of these chords. Okay, again, we are going back to the key of D. What other chords work? Okay, that is going to be, like I said, your relative minor, which is going down 3 frets, and then make a minor out of it. So if you're in D, go, I call this going down. Some people call it going up. He said going down. Midgets call it going up. Oh, never mind. Little people. Okay. Little people go up on you if you're not a little person. Okay. So D, go down. Why do I say down? Sounds like you're falling down. Some people say go up. No, up the neck is this way. Down the neck is this way. Okay. Just depends on what side of the Mississippi you're born in. Okay. So you go down 3 frets to the B. So we go 1, 2, 3, and make a minor there. And we play that minor again while it's in the key of D. Okay, so we know, let's play B minor and just kind of show some of this stuff. So B minor is what happens if we play D while B minor is playing? Not good there. Okay. So what we have is the key is B minor, but we're still playing our D stuff because we like it. But you'll hear it when you're playing what notes from this D stuff that you love to play are going to work and what ones aren't, and what ones, because they're all going to work, just some of them have to be passing tones. Like is not going to work. You can play it because it's all still part of the same scale that I'm trying not to teach you. Or that's just the D major scale. But B minor is playing behind us. But did you hear how well that worked there when I just went through it all real fast? Okay, it's just the D major scale, but I'm stopping on different notes now. That one sounds great. Instead of, it sounds great in there, but then when you land or resolve somewhere, or if you were to bend it, same thing here. Both notes work really nice. It's just the minor, sorry, not the minor, the major 7. So if you're doing a major scale, so you keep playing your D stuff, see what works as far as what to resolve to. Oh, that one works nice. Why? Oh, because it's a B. That's part of the D. That's the end of the D scale. That's a D note, which happens to be the flatted third of a B minor scale. Okay, you can hear that one there. Don't quite work right. Why? Because if you actually look at it, it's 2 notes behind the B. So we get to bend it up again. That one sounds great bent up. Okay. So that's your other chord that you can keep playing. So I showed you how to play in the key of D, how to play all your D stuff. I've got one more for you. In the key of D, you played your D licks. Amazing. Or now we go down to B minor. You're still playing your D stuff. Now we go to E minor. So D over D. D over B minor. To bend and work on bending because they're all the same notes. All 4 chords that I give you are all going to have the exact same notes in them. Okay, we're only missing 1 chord now. So in the key of D, we can play what we play that will have all the same notes, so you cannot hit a bad note because the note is in the scale, but you have to land on the right note. Okay, but all the notes are still going to be in all 4 scales of all 4 chords, I tell you. So we have D. We have B minor. We have E minor. We're just ending on different notes or bending different notes, but they're still the same notes that are in D. Those same notes are the only notes we're using. Okay? Now we have one more chord. What is it? It's your 4 chord, if you know the names of these, which is just going to be a G major. I told you that earlier, so hopefully you know it. So if you're in D, okay, so D and G, you can still play your D stuff over top of D and over top of G major. You're like, what? Yes, true. So just put the band back here in G major and sorry. Sounds weird. You're so used to hearing minors now that your ear is going to get used to hearing both majors and minors and how to combine them, and that's a good thing. Okay, so make sure G major is going on. Okay, G major. It's throwing in a 7th. There we go. So there's G. But we still want to be able to play our D stuff. Right here, you just have to simply be aware of what notes to end on again, okay? Because it's still this D major scale, and G happens to be right there. It's not part of the regular D triad. None of these are, except for the D. See, it's all. Okay, so I can still play now. Okay, so I've showed you the D there. So that one's going to sound great bent. The next one is going here. That comes from. But you're still playing your D stuff, even here. So it has to be there. Okay, so it's a matter of, in this case, exactly the same as the others, bending the notes from your G or your D stuff, going, no, that don't work. Of course it don't work. It works in D, so the notes that you bend or you go to are still going to be exactly the same notes you use in your D stuff. But again, you can use them all, but don't stop on the same notes. You will just have to listen and learn as you go to which notes you can actually end up on, and you will start seeing the shapes of the other chords. So if I'm playing in D, I know it doesn't sound right over that. But if I play the same notes, but in stopping on a different note, that sounds nice. Because it's a G. But it's still all part of the D scale. That was the 4 of a D scale. But, so you'll start actually seeing this. Like an F shape. Here's F. But move it up to G. So you'll start seeing that after a while. So the band's playing in G back there. And you know it's right if you land on any of these notes, because you're going to start seeing that when you practice this lesson enough. So you're going to go, okay, if those are that, so I can land on these notes no matter what and stay there. But I want to use my D licks. I know I can land on these 2 notes, and I can land on this note, and I can land on this note. But I'm still playing my D stuff. So I'm still playing my D, and I know I can end here because it's going to be part of this. So I can end there. So I'll play my D stuff and go there. Same bit, and I can go here because of this. And I can go here, the D. And I can go here. Okay, so that's how you get for all these different chords underneath of you and still play the same scale over and over again. So say a D scale is all you know, well, very quickly you're going to learn to play all the scales that will work with around in E minor, because things will be, now you connect these, okay? They will actually connect in your brain as you're playing. I'm going to show you how they're going to connect, because everybody always tells me, Scott, and why do they say that? Because that's my name. And I say, what? You know, because it's kind. Okay, if you're playing in D, and I just showed you E minor and G, okay, you're playing in D here. Now the E minor and the G are, God, they're exactly the same chord except for one note. So of course they're going to work, but they all have exactly the G, all the notes from the D major scale. Okay, so that's why they work. All 4 chords have the exact same notes in the scale. It doesn't mean they can all be played at the same time and sound well, but it means they are all in the scale of every other chord that I showed you that is related to it. So your D is where we're at. But I said now you can play in G. Or the chord behind you can be a G. So look at it. It's a G right there. And G, also, you can add a G. Wow. And to make an E minor, all you gotta do is add an E in there somewhere. Well, you can just take that G back off and it's an E minor. Or you can add an E here. And if you look at it, what am I doing? I'm right back into your D stuff. I didn't do anything. I started off in the D because it's part of the G chord. And it is the note we were missing was this one to go to the E minor. This is all, that's the second of the D chord. 1, 2, 3. So those are the only notes that are being used, okay? If you keep going higher, okay? So it's just the D major scale, and it happens to work within G. notes that are in D? Exactly, because they are 100% inbred. They're related. So learn to play the stuff that you know how to play over top of all these chords, and vice versa. Once you start looking at it again, you'll start thinking, okay, I can play G. It looks like this, but it looks just like an E minor if I just put that one finger down. Quit thinking of G looking like this. Think of it as a one finger chord, like there's C, there's D, there's E, there's F, there's G. That is a G scale. Wait, no, that's a D scale. It's the same scale. There's no difference. No, it's an E minor scale. Of course it is. There it is. All those notes are all still part of the D scale. They were just, I went up to, and I ended on E because we're in E, because that's what I showed you before. Take the D, it's all part of it. Right there. But then we bend, or just go to it. So that's how you have to think about all this stuff. It's all related, but what note do I have to stop on? And that will start forming its aha moment. And say, okay, I see it now. Here is, look at this. Okay, I'm going to do it way down here so you see it. Here is D. Now think of this. You can always go. Okay, so you have a D. And there's B minor. It's the same chord. You're just adding extra notes of the same notes in there. I'm adding, so there's D, or I can play it like this, but we put a B in there. Why? Because you can. Here's D scale. It's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's theory. You want to avoid that, so I'm showing you as much as I can without giving it away. So it's the 6. We add a B to a D chord, and then we add another. We got an F sharp right here anyway on the D chord. We could put another one here, so we got a B, which is our 6th, an F sharp, which is a 3rd, so naturally belongs there. Then we can add another 6, a B here, and all of a sudden it's a B minor. The D chord right here that I like to play, I just go like this, so it's this close. There's D. Okay, that's no different than this, except for I'm adding an extra note that's in the scale, so that's just another one of these, a 3rd. So there's a root, 5th, root again, so a D, and 2 F sharps. So I'm adding another F sharp, the same as this one that we normally use. So I haven't changed it at all, it's just a D still. But look how closely related it is, and I just put 2 6s in there, meaning yes, it's theory. I put the pinky down on the 4th fret, and then I raise my bar right here, up 1 fret, cover the A. Now it's the B, it's the 6th again. Now it's B minor. So when you think about that stuff while you're playing in D, you'll think about looking at D like this, but then it will start to look like a B minor. So you can go. So if a song's going B minor, D, B minor, I was playing over D and B minor because they're the same thing. The chords are identical. There's all the same notes are in all 4 chords I just showed you. So I'm going to have to stop here and let you figure out the rest, because that's where the real power is when you get to learning all this stuff by yourself. At some point you have somebody hold your hand, you know, across the street first few times. You figure out how to cross the street later. So again, pick out what key you play well in, that you think you play well in, and the other 3 chords that'll go around it. Okay, real quick, let's say we're in, let's put it down here one more time for you, and we'll go one other key and just show you how to find all the other stuff. Let's just go to E. Say you play in E well, And you're like, I play an E great. Okay, so you know if you're in E, now let's do this. Take it and go forward 1, 2 frets. So, and it's going to be a minor. Okay, anything that is not dropping down to find the next one. Let's show you. So you get E is F sharp. Now we make it a minor. So that's the next chord you can play in just simply by bending notes. Now goes the I'm still playing an E, but you're hearing those F sharp minors. Okay, so you can see it's all part of the same thing. So you get E, and you just went up 2, made a minor. Or you go down 3 and make a minor. So here's E, you go backward, 1, 2, 3, so that's C sharp minor. Okay, so you're going to be playing all your E stuff again. Hear how that's working? You're in E. But you're playing an E, but you're stopping at different places. And then if you're in E, you just drop down 1. So if you're in E, just drop down 1 string down, straight down, it'll be whatever that is. So E is going to be A. Or you can just go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be your major one. So if you're playing an A, you could play all your E licks while everybody's playing an A. A. I was playing an E. Why? Because, hey, it looks like this A, or it looks like a D chord shaped like an A, or I can make an A that looks like this. But it's all part of the E scale. So that's how you find what all chords you can play with the one scale you already know. Okay, and then again, you will automatically figure out by accident, or just with what I showed you, how to play all the scales, all the notes, all the bends, and approach them from behind instead of something that sounds so much like a scale. So now you're actually bending up to them because you're thinking in a different key, like the key of E, but you're playing C sharp minor. The band is, but you're playing C sharp minor stuff, but you're just thinking E the whole time. But then it will come to you, it's like I'm seeing the shape C sharp minor now right here. Why? Because this is already E, and we're just adding, and that will show you the notes you can bend up to. So I know I can, from this E, all the other ones I can leave the same, but that one I have to. So that's playing over C sharp minor, but hey, I was playing an E. I have to end on that note because it's C sharp minor I'm playing in, not E, but it looks just like E that I've always played. I just end here instead of here. Okay, so little tricks like this will make you or break you, and these will make you. I mean, just learn the 4 chords that you can play what you know over top of, and they will all soon enough run into each other. Why? There's only 12 notes in the whole world, people, and each time you do this, you're covering 4 whole entire chords that are made up of at least 3 notes, but the scale is exactly the same. There's going to be 8 notes in that scale, and 2 of those notes are going to be the same. The 1 and the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. same thing, so that you are ever so quickly closing in on all these numbers. There's not that many numbers anymore. You had 12 notes. There's still the 12 notes you're playing, but you're only playing 8 out of those 12 notes in the world in any given scale. Okay, so you've cut that down. So we got eight notes we can do, but we can play those 8 notes over 4 chords. Okay, it's like, holy crap. Well, now there's just down to 2 notes in that scale. So it just cut that down by 3/4. So now you're left with a little quarter of what we were cut down to anyway. It's mind-boggling how small it all is. So there's only like a couple of notes left in the entire world that cannot be played, period, over top of those 4 chords. Otherwise, they are the same chords. You just don't think of them that way, but you will soon. And that's theory. But you don't have to learn it to understand it. You have to see it and play it to understand it. So if theory is boggling your mind right now, this is the best way to unboggle it, because you will have another light bulb moment like you had a while back when everything all of a sudden became relatively easy for you to play. You know, chords getting from one to the next and you never thought you would. Then all of a sudden you just were for some reason. Same thing's going to happen here. The whole neck is going to look like a person. You recognize that thing in its entirety. You don't recognize just the eyes or just the nose or just the mouth. The whole face, the whole body becomes just one thing you recognize instead of little bits and pieces, because they are all connected. They are all part of one little stick that is stupid to think that, okay, the whole guitar starts again here at the 12th fret. So they've already showed you, hey, from here to here is all the work you have to do. Then you just do it all again from 12th fret on up. So you cut your guitar in half. Then you play the same thing. Man, I'm really shrinking this down for you. Okay? So practice playing in D. Then put something where the chord pattern's actually playing E minor behind you. Keep playing the stuff in D. Realize which notes you have to bend up. Then make the E minor chord after you're making this D. Okay, then just realize it's right there. Huh? You're like, I mean, dudes, it's right here. They're all these chords are right next to each other because they're made up of exactly the same notes in the scale. Okay, again, these 8 notes are making up all 4 of those chords. It's that simple, but you know, it's always like, man, there's just something in there blocking my head. This will unblock you, like a lobotomy. No, that's a lobotomy up here. So a colonoscopy, it'll unblock you, but it will unblock a lot of that, and you'll start seeing E minor right there. And you're like, well, what do I do to make it a D? Those are all the notes in the D scale. Okay, and there's D. So there's D chord. And if you make the E minor, that's all 8 notes that I just showed you. All the 8 notes in that whole entire scale that you're using for even the next 2 chords. Okay, so there's E minor. You'll start seeing that. Then you can know which notes need to be bent. Okay, so this one will have to be bent up to here. Or sorry, this one. So if you're in D, you have to bend it up to here for E minor. If you're in D, you have to bend it there. Or play it there. If you're in D, playing your stuff, you have to go up to the 1 fret. It shows you there, right there. These are the notes I have to play. So here's D. Now we go to E minor. But they're the same notes that we're in D, but they're all tied together. And then you're like, wait, if I take this, look at it, E minor, E minor, E minor, E minor. I change 1 note, put it there. That's G. I told you you could play G. It's only 1 more note. You just took that note off. Now it's G major. I mean, they're that closely related. And D, E minor, G, and then for the B minor, guess what? There's, look at it, E minor, B minor. That's the other chord I told you could play. So here's your last look. Here's how close all these chords are going to look. If the key you're playing in is D, you can play this is E minor. Move one note. That's G. Go back to E minor, D, E minor. Here's E minor. Here's our other chord, B minor. Move it up here, but get rid of this middle finger. Take these two notes off, you're back to D. So that's why you do it for every key. If you're in E, just put this down. There's E. Okay, there's F sharp minor. Now if we put the one pinky up here, that's A. That's that other chord I told you could play. Go back to F sharp minor. Get rid of it, you're back to E, regular, major. Okay, so back to F sharp minor. Now C sharp minor. Same fret. It's just, you just went from here to here, because they're all the same notes. Okay, so there you go. The key of D will set you free, but play it in every single key, and you'll be going, man, there are actually only 3 sets of chords out there. Yeah, you're right. There are 3 scales until you start getting into weird crap, you know, and then heavy metal, classical bass stuff. That's different in its own way, but right now, this is where you need to be. Okay, so you just took care of, in the key of D and the key of E, 4 chords and 4 more chords. Some of those chords are going to end up being the same. You got one more set to do, then you've actually went over every chord that there is. It's like, wait, what do you mean? Well, we just went over 8 chords, and there's only 12 notes in the world, so there's 4 more chords that we haven't mentioned the name of the chords. They'll be major or minor, but there's only 3 sets of 4 chords to learn. That's it, because they will all become one another very soon. The next one you do that doesn't have any of those 4 chords in it that I just showed you will end up being the other 4, and then you will have them all. You're just going to be like, holy crap, I know the entire neck now. Yes, you're that close to learning it. So once again, Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy, Groovy Music Lessons. Follow along with this train of thought. You will learn theory, but you will teach it to yourself. It will make a lot more sense if you teach it to yourself, because the other ways are just not easy for some people. I get it. That's the way I learned. I taught myself, because I just couldn't get the third and get flat the root, flat the diminished something to the third power times pi. It didn't register. But if I'm like, man, these are the 4 chords and they're all still on these 2 frets, like I showed you right here at the end. Yes, I saved the good stuff for an hour later to tell you how simple it is, but there's a reason for going through it with it like I did, so I hope you enjoyed the process to get there. Now the process is up to you and you alone to figure it out. Once you get there, then go to somebody else if you want to ingve out or whatever, because I'm here to show you the basics, and this is quite a mouthful. Very easy. So much easier than all them other teachers do it out there. Okay, so have fun, play well, play loud, and enjoy, last time, the tapper's tone.